most people are understanding now that stress is a good thing. If you're told that stress is a bad thing, you were incompletely told, or there's an incomplete understanding of what stress is. So let's go through. We are going to define these terms for you right now. So first and foremost, stress. Stress is every sensation that you will experience. Everything that happens to you every single minute, second of every day is stress by definition. When I say sensation, I mean all the incoming stimuli that all of your senses receive, every sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, movement, and every other sense that we're not even aware of. They're all stressors, and they are all technically stress. And this is something that if you don't understand this, then you're missing the whole boat of what stress is and how to recover and how to eventually prevent and overcome injury. So stressors trigger a response both consciously and subconsciously. Subconsciously, your electromagnetic fields from your cell phones, that's a stressor. So there's all kinds of 5G towers all over. Those are stressors. So today we have more innate stress on our systems than we have over the last 100 years because of all the new gadgets and things that we have. There's more stress to the system. All right. So stress, every sensation that you get, every receptor in your body that's receiving some information, that is a stressor because it's a force that's applied that's knocking your system, your body, your whole being out of its homeostatic position. Okay? So, stress, every sensation. Recovery is stress management. It is the management of those sensations. It's a continuous, responsive process to all of these stressors that promotes a return to an optimal or desired state of physical, mental, and emotional function. The key with recovery is that it's a continuous process. It is always happening because we always have stressors on the system. So there's always a response to it. And I'll talk about this. We're going to detail this a lot in the first few slides. But you have to understand recovery is a continuous process. It's always occurring. It doesn't start after a training session. It starts before your training session. It's always going on. And it's a process. Recovery is a process. Now, here's what we don't hear a lot in the industry. There's a difference between recovery and recovered. Recovered is stress that's been managed. Recovery is the process of managing it. Now, I'm going to show you pictures and graphics and different things. So if you're not necessarily a verbal person, you'll see this visually here in a second. It's the completion of the recovery process. Being in a state of recoveredness, being recovered, is the completion of recovery. Two different events, two different things. Vitally important to understand. This determines your readiness. Readiness is your current ability level. As we'll talk about, it's constantly changing. Your current ability level will change throughout the day, day to day. That is another vitally important thing to understand about how your system works. That leads to how do I train properly and what do I do with people on a day-to-day basis. Because writing a program, especially periodized programs, will not periodize specifically to the person. So you may be missing the mark. So if you don't have a way to assess recovery, assess stress and fatigue, you're just throwing darts in the dark. You have no idea if you're even close to that person or not. That's why we need to understand these topics and understand this information. That's why there's so many injuries that can be prevented. Musculoskeletal injuries can be prevented and can be overcome when they happen if you understand how the body operates. Okay, stage number one. When we talk about readiness, that's your indication of your current level of fatigue or recovery, because recovery is based on the amount of fatigue that you have. It reveals the level of physical, mental, and emotional ability that you have at any specific point in time. Readiness is a specific point in time, and that's to do whatever you have to do. Now I want to talk real quick about when we say readiness, there's a lot of biometric data out there. I'll use Whoop as an example because Whoop is a fantastic tool. But when you get your readiness score in the morning, that readiness score will not be the same at noon. It will not be the same at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And this is where a lot of the biometric data and these systems fail us because we rely on that. It says, okay, I'm ready. And there's another reason why we can do better with those in time. I won't get into that now. I might get into that in the next one. But when you get a readiness score from an app or some type of heart rate variability mechanism or whatever mechanism that you're using, and you take it in the morning because they say take it in the morning because that's when you're ready. That's true. That's when you get the best picture. But if you train at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and you've gone through a whole day of stress, that readiness is going to change, like it or not. That's just how the body works. So those are things that we have to be very careful of. Okay? Hope everyone's following.